goodness, okay. That is, I bumped this with my, I bumped it with my head yesterday. And pretty good thump on the noggin with that. So apparently it moved the camera back some. Let me try and get it just a little bit. Okay, I think that's probably good. That's more like where I am comfortably resting my hands. So right there-ish. Move it this way a little. All right, I think that's probably good. Good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time of the day it is. I hope you are having a wonderful day, or whatever time of day it is. It is Tuesday the 30th. It's about 5:30 in the morning. I was trying to get this done earlier, and you know, sometimes things just don't go the way you want them to. So that's what was going on today. This is the second half of the pink batch that I made, and then the start of the coffee dyed batch that I did. We've gone too far, too far. Got stuff that's in another batch that I want to show you. Okay, that does not, oh no, that does go there. That's the special thing I wanted to tell you about that really surprised me about my most recent coffee dyed batch. So, I'll put that aside and I'll explain that in a minute. So I got coffee filters for the pink. Excuse my super black, super grungy fingers. I'm working on black right now. And it is one of the colors that is very hard to get off your fingers. And I was just actively sticking my fingers. Sorry, I've got some loose skin right there that catches on everything. But I was just sticking my hands in it. So I washed my hands, but it takes a few washes for it to come out. And so I just have plague fingers. Yay, plague fingers. So I did coffee filters. And they're, you know, pretty standard to what we've gotten. I'll just flip through a few so you can kind of see. Oh, and we'll do the test. Since we've got this here, let's test if you can see through this color. I've got one of the Harry Potter book pages here because I just have me so many of them. So, oh, you can. Hopefully that will show through up there. I will lift it up a little bit, but it does show through. It probably looks better flat. So if you glued it down, you would, with the pink, be able to see whatever's in the background there. But also, think those ruffles people make with paper and fabric, you could totally make them out of these coffee filters. They will, I believe, stand up to it very well. They're much more durable than you might think. So there was that little demonstration. We'll flip through a few more so that you can see the color variations. They look darker stacked on each other because they do. Because the color then, you know, it just looks like. So that's 2. So there you go. See, even 2 just looks that much darker. So yeah, got some pink coffee filters done. Working up to a 50 lot kit of the pink dye. Oh, so it's going to be difficult to get that. There we go. Okay, so we'll put that back over in my little pile. These are just a few testers. I did most of these coffee dyed, and then I found a few, so I thought, hey, why not a couple pink ones? So those are just for my own personal use. More of the reclaimed spiral notebook paper, so you don't get very much space in between the edge of the paper and the holes, because it was, you know, perforated in the spiral notebook, and I pulled that off because when you dye it, it comes off anyway. Otherwise, I would have left it. And just cut the rings off. So there are the next batch of lined paper. will be going into my shop soon. And there it is from the other side. Alright. Add that to my little pile over here. Oops, missed one. And then this half of the batch did come out a little bit lighter pink than the other batch. And I got some, you know, other effects as well. A little bit more occlusions in part of it. But overall, this paper is generally less pinky, more blushy. So there's that. And then we'll do it once from this side just so that you can see it. I don't have much to talk about today. Here real quick after I finish flipping through this, I will, let me just pull it up here. What are you guys watching on Netflix? I know Natasha asks this sometimes, and I don't generally seem to like what most other people like. There we go. I am currently watching a show that has one season available on. Oh, I better move that before it starts yelling at me. I do not like this new thing that Netflix is doing where it's got a big square thing at the beginning before it starts showing you like your list and popular on Netflix and trending now, where it has a preview for a program and it starts playing automatically. I don't mind that the preview is there, but I would like to click the button. I don't want to just log on to a website and have it start yelling at me. I do not enjoy that. So, where is my stuff that I watch? There it is, viewing activity. Okay, so what I'm currently watching right now is In the Dark. And it's a series about a blind woman who is at least semi-dysfunctional. She drinks too much. She doesn't want any help. She's got an attitude. And I've seen movies like that, but I think this is probably the first show. And I'm enjoying it. It's not without its issues, but so far so good. I'm only 4 episodes in. I'm also watching the first season, and I think it may be the only season available of Legacies, which is a vampire werewolf special school for special kids type of thing. And this is more of a teen show. I had finished The Order, which only had 1 season as well, which was set on a college campus, which was more entertaining and more tolerable to me. I'm kind of over this whole teenage vampire werewolf thing. Like, it's a little played out. So, I'll finish out this season of Legacies because I have a real thing about not finishing things. But I may not watch a second season of that because it's so teenage angsty, and I'm 48. I'm kind of over the whole teenage angst thing. This is the Kindergarten Paper. I will get back to Netflix in a minute. So this is the paper that, you know, the thinner paper that we talked about, that I had coffee dyed some of it and dip dyed a little bit of it in some blue previously, and the lines all washed out. I had better luck with the pink, with the light pink. I don't know if you can see it. The lines are very faint, but they are there. I'll hold it here for a minute so hopefully it focuses, and then I'll try and move it up a little bit more. This is harder to hold steady because I'm not resting my elbows on anything, but the lines are there, front and back. Oh, you can see it maybe even a little better on this piece. So it came out good. So this is one of the things I subbed because I don't have index cards to dye pink. The last of my index cards that I have are going for the black lot because Halloween is coming, and I think that's going to be a better seller than pink index cards, although I do plan on doing a full batch of pink. So this was kind of a replacement item Oh, and there was a second thing I did. Hold on. Where did you put it? Where's your stuff? Oh, and there goes something on the floor back there. Come on. Okay. So, in the, there's typically 5 or 6 things that I put in each kit. So usually you have 2 full-size papers. This is less than a full-size paper, but bigger than like the grid papers that I used in the orange kit, if you remember. So far I've got lined paper, and let's see, where's mine? So I've got the plain paper, the lined paper. What I wanted to see was what the size differential is on these two. And they are roughly the same. The kindergarten paper is just a smidge shorter and a tad wider. So that's 3 of the 5 or 6 elements. Coffee filters. There's 4. I've typically put the coffee filters in everything because I think they're cool. And they do make fun envelopes. I've tried it out. So, you know, it is a fun thing to do. And these are very forgiving. You can usually get those lines out if you decide you don't like something. But ruffles, envelopes, as over book pages, you know, so you have something slightly more interesting than just, you know, your average book paper. You can, so there you go, you glue that on there and or sew it on, you know, tack it and then sew it. You've already got a base there and you didn't really have to do all that much. So I think they're awesome. I hope other people will think they're awesome. But I have been including, I do want to get some smaller ones, and I think I also want to do cupcake liners. I think that would be super fun, a fun size. Typically have the doilies. I do have the pink doilies already done. What did I do with those? So 1, 2, 3, 4, there's a 5th element. And then I did these. This is last year's day planner pages that I got on clearance. I did about, I don't know, I want to say that's maybe 50 of them. I probably should have done a little bit more. But again, you get kind of a interesting effect there. So that's 5, and I do have a 6th element, but I only have 1 of it. And I will show that here in just a second. This is an item I tested, and I did talk about it on the other video. So I am like 1 thing away from a kit, and I may have enough pink dye to do this. And happy news, I ordered more of the tags, hold on, of these. So I will be able to do pink of this too. I don't know if I have enough dye. Give me 1 second and I will run and I will show you. Hold on. I don't think this is enough to do tags, but it's probably enough to do not quite as bright as the item I tested. So yes, I use RIT dye. I think I've said that before, but maybe it didn't register to some people. This is what I use. It's fairly inexpensive, although if you price it on Amazon, it is not. It is twice what it is if you can get it at Michael's. Local grocery stores carry it in some colors. Michael's seems to carry the most. And they do offer free shipping on orders over a certain amount, but I can't afford, I think it's $49, you know, it's right at $50, which isn't that. These are $4.50 at my son's local grocery store, but they do not carry the pink, they do not carry the orange. They carry black, brown, blue, and I think 1 kind of red. So I can get black from there very easy. But the only place that I have seen that carries the pink and the orange is Michael's. I even checked the Walmart website. They don't seem to have the orange. I do believe they had the pink, and it's $4.50 to $4.75. Any place else I looked except Amazon, and I did order my very first Kohler from Amazon before I realized how much cheaper it was everywhere else. So buyer beware on that one. Do not order your RIT dies from Amazon. They jack up the price. I have occasionally you can get it as an add-on for $3.98 or even $2.98 if you really watch the colors. If you go in and check every few days, they do offer it as an add-on. You know, if you buy $25 worth of stuff, then you can add that for a cheap price. Now that is a good deal, and if you have Prime, it's a screaming deal. But most of the colors run anywhere from $6.98 to upwards of $10. And luckily I didn't get totally gacked on my first color. I'm trying to think of what the first color was. It was probably purple. But I realized I just ordered the first one. I was like, oh cool, I'll try that, because I tried Kool-Aid and I had tried food coloring. And I liked the results, but for the depth of color I wanted, I found that and for the quantity that I dye at. Now I've had people tell me, well, I found it to be really economical. Yeah, but you're dyeing for yourself. I dye a minimum of 250 pages every time I dye, or 250 items. I won't say pages because of the plain papers in my current the pan that I have, and I use monkeys. Let me tell you, in the interest of transparency, if you want to do this yourself, aluminum, aluminum pan. Oh, Amazon, why do you make me log in every time I ask you something? So I ordered a large sheet cake pan. It's 12 inches by 18 inches. Originally I ordered this because I was going to do legal size paper, and I still plan on doing that, but I cannot find a good deal on a case of, it's almost impossible to find a case of, and a case of the legal paper in the weight I use, I think, it might have been 20-pound paper. Don't hold me to that. Is I think $52 or $56. So it's much pricier than the 8.5 by 11. And I do still plan on offering legal paper because on larger journals, legal paper is the perfect thing, because you can fold it in half and maybe only have to trim it a little bit, or maybe not at all. The height is good, but on some journals where maybe you want a full-size sheet of paper but you don't want to hinge two pieces together, legal paper is definitely the way to go. So I still do very much want to. I just need to order it in. I'm hoping at some point during the fall, if I have good sales, that's the time I can do it. And so maybe around Thanksgiving or Christmas, I can start offering it. Of course, I will buy it in sooner if I can. But so the pan that I use to do the dip dyeing is a 12 by 18 rectangle, and it's 2 inches deep. And for that size pan, I use almost one full of this, depending on the color. Now, the reason I have this much pink left is because I like the lighter blushy color, and I did not use as much to get this color effect. You don't need as much. So for that size pan, for the amount of water it holds, and for the RIT dye to work best, the paper has to go in it when the water is still pretty hot. I found that it absorbs the color the best that way. But if you want the depth of color, or you're dyeing, 200 sheets, a single pack of Kool-Aid's not going to cut it. So by the time you bought enough Kool-Aid or enough food coloring, this is actually, in my opinion, more economical, or as economical. I don't think this costs any more than the amount of packets you would have to use for Kool-Aid for that amount of paper in that size pan, and so on and so on. So they're not wrong. I could get the same effect with Kool-Aid, but I do like the RIT dye, and there's not much waste. When I, for most colors, with the exception of black, when I pick up the paper and I'm holding it to let most of the water drain off, the water is draining clear. The color has all gone into the paper. Occasionally with the black, there will be some color left just because it's such a dark color, and I like such a saturated color with that. That you will still see the black in the water, but for the most part, when I dump the water, it's clear or very close to it. So, and I don't have to like wash this paper or anything. It doesn't bleed, which I initially thought it might, but it doesn't bleed. It's color fast. So it's not like going in the washer and that's going out into the environment, because I don't think this is particularly environmentally friendly. But so with this much, I would need, I'm trying to think, so it's probably right about here in the curve. This is probably right about like at the bottom of this label. That's probably how much I have left. So I think I can do the test item with that amount. It will turn out lighter. This is the test I got. I'll move these off. So this is the front page, which was white. I got a nice color with that. Using this much dye, I can probably get enough to start the kit. But you get 4 per sheet, and then this is the set. This is the back part, and this was yellow, if you recall. Let me see if I've got close to me right now one that I can just show you for reference. Give me one of those, please. Okay. So this is the original, and I think this is okay. I like this color. I think it's, you know, it's obviously not as true as this, but it's not like yellow with a thin veneer of pink on it. This is the original. This is the original yellow, and the original front page. So this is that, and this is that. So that's how it came out, and I'm happy with that. I think this is enough, not to do all of these that I have, but to do enough to create a kit. So those will be my 5 items, and then I will definitely do tags. But to go up to Michael's, there's one down south of us at Tempe Marketplace, and there's one up north of us. I don't remember the name of the shopping mall, but it's where the Super Salad is, for anybody who lives in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. It's up Hayden Road where the Super Salad is. And there's almost nothing in that outdoor shopping mall anymore. Michael's is one of the few stores left. So it's $4.50, but a bus pass for a day is $4. So if I'm going up there, I don't want to just buy a $4 item, because I've paid as much to get to the store, plus my travel time in the heat, because it's 108 every day right now. I want to be able to buy, you know, 5 or 6 of them. And by the time I bought 5 or 6, so if the minimum order is $50 to get free shipping divided by $4.50, I'd have to buy 11 of them for it to be free shipping. And that's easy to do. But I don't have $50 to spend at the moment, and I'm not whinging about it. This is a practical thing. Pink is not a priority, obviously. I have enough to make items for a kit. I just love the tags, and I want to make them. So I have a box of tags coming in. I bought a box of 1,000 tags in this size. Hopefully in the next month or so I can order. There's a smaller size that I want, so it's like, I think it's like that big and about that wide. It's super cute and tiny. And then there's a slightly larger size that I like to get, so I can offer a variety of sizes and do some tag kits. I will be offering these ones. I just finished black, and I'm ironing and pressing them. So I think that's 5 tag. I'd like to get the green done as well, but I think 5 is enough to offer as a set. Like you get, if I did 5 of each or 10 of each, depending. If you have feedback, if you were to buy these, like if this was a thing you were interested in the 5 colors I have, Currently I have red, teal, purple, orange, and black in this size, and they all kind of look like this. Let me pull one of each for you for this question. Teal, red, come on purple, come on to your little spot. Purple's shy, it doesn't want to come out today. Must be, maybe Francis will look at you, come on. Okay, so here's a purple one. Good Lord, that was more difficult than it needed to be. And this black one is not pressed or ironed yet, so it's a little it's a little wobbly. So let me pull these two smaller things off here and put them down here where the fan will blow them away. So let's put them over there. Okay, so this is what I currently have. If you were inclined to buy this, or if you just as a intellectual exercise, imagining my future customers, would you want 5 of each color or 10 of each color if you were buying it? Just as a curiosity. So you can see the variety of effects you might get, and I'll flip these over so you can see, you know, sometimes it's not as exciting on one side as the other. But I think they're super fun. Natasha gave me feedback and said she would rather they were all just plain dyed, and that would get them about the same effects as this pink paper or some of the other papers seen, where you would get a slightly mottled effect and some occlusions, but you wouldn't get the wicking effect. And at some point, maybe I'll offer both, but I would be interested in your feedback on that as well. If you would prefer that they were flat dyed, even if this came off and I didn't glue it back on, because this comes off. And I will tell you that this comes off and it stays on until I go to pull it out of the water. And then maybe I have some coffee dyed ones that I haven't put but I don't know where I put them. Yes, my desk is just this. Okay, so this is the coffee dyed ones. So you can see it didn't come off until after. On the dip dyed ones, where you get that under there, so you see it leaves a slightly pink residue. And on the dip dyed ones, the color does not generally go under that either. So you can see, these are coffee dyed ones I did, that they came off. And then for the ones that came loose in the water, they do go and rest on the page, and they'll leave the shape and a little pink thing. So when I flat dye, that is what happened. On darker colors it won't matter, but like on a yellow or a pink, light blue, that would show up on the card. So I'd be interested in your feedback if you have it to offer. If you don't, that is fine too. Asking questions is, you know, it's never a horrible thing to do. Oh, let me put that black one back in the ironing pile. So those are my two questions. Would you prefer them to be flat dyed instead of wicked up? And if you were considering buying something of that nature, would you prefer that they were 5 of each or 10 of each? So once I get these dyed, I'll have my 5 items, and I can list a 50 lot of this as well. And then when the tags are done, I can reevaluate what I want to put in it. So it would be the plain paper, the line paper, the preschool paper, the coffee filters, the day planner pages, and doilies. And then this would be the 6th item, would be the receipt, the cash receipt stuff. So there is that. Now these are the, let me look at the time, because maybe I'll do the coffee. Yeah, we're at 29. I've babbled for 30 minutes. So this will be in the next video. I will talk about this lined paper and the interesting thing that happened at the end of the batch. And then I have some other coffee dyed stuff. I have the plain paper and some book pages to show you. But that will be in the next video. If you have watched all the way to the end, hooray and thank you. You are amazing people, whether you watch my videos all the way through or not. I know that some people have time constraints, and maybe what I'm talking about isn't all that interesting to you. I get it. Whatever time of the day or night it is, I hope you are having a wonderful insert time of day, and that you are doing things in your life that bring you joy and happiness. And however you fill your time, I think that you are doing amazing things, that you have the potential to do even more amazing things. And I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, I wish you happy crafting. Bye!